Hello everyone, welcome to Learning and Reading World. Today I'm doing class 7th English chapter, that is 3 question. Okay, so let's start the chapter. The thought came to a certain king that he would never fail if he knew 3 things. These 3 things were: what is the right time to begin something, which people should he listen to, and what is the most important thing for him to do. So a thing came to a king mind that he would never fail if he knew these 3 things: that what is the right time to begin something, right, which people should he listen to, and what is the most important thing for him to do. The king therefore sent messengers throughout his kingdom, promising a large sum of money to anyone who would answer these 3 questions. So king said that sent these messengers throughout his kingdom and promised them that whosoever will answer these 3 questions, he will get a reward. That means a large sum of money. Many wise men came to the king, but they all answered his question differently. In reply to the first question, some said the king must prepare a timetable and then follow it strictly. Only in this way, they said, could he do everything at this proper time? Others said that it was possible to decide in advance the right time for doing something. The king should notice all that was going on, avoid foolish pleasures, and always do whatever seemed necessary at that time. Yet, others said that the king needed a council of wise men who would help him act at that time. This was because one man would find it impossible to decide correctly without help from others the right time for every action. But then others said that there was something which could be urgent. These things could not wait for the decision of the council. In order to decide the right time for doing something, it is necessary to look into the future, and only magician could do that. The king therefore would have to go to the magician. In their answer to the second question, some said that the poor people most necessary to do to the king were his counselors. Others said the priest. A few others chose the doctor. And yet others said that his soldiers were the most necessary. To the third question, some said science, others chose fighting, and yet other religious worship. As the answer to his question was so different, the king was not satisfied. So the king was not satisfied as everybody was giving other and different answers, and all the answer to all those questions are not suitable, right? So in their answer to the second question, some said the people most necessary to the king were his counselors, others said the priest. A few others chose the doctors, and yet others said that his soldiers were the most necessary. So you all can learn these names, that counselors, priests, right, soldiers and doctors. To the third question. So now we are talking about the third question. To the third question, some said science, others choose fighting, and yet other religious worship. Which is most? The third question was that which is most important thing for him to do, right? As the answer to his question was so different, the king was not satisfied and he didn't give any reward. He gave no reward. Instead, he decided to seek the advice of a certain hermit who was widely known for his worship. So he thought that I should go to a hermit who can give the answer for this question. He thought like this. So the hermit lived in a wood which he never left. He saw no one but simple people. And so the king put an ordinary cloth. That's why king also wear the ordinary clothes, means the simple clothes. Before he reached the hermit's hut, the king left his horse with his bodyguard and went on alone. So king ने बोला कि मैं like ordinary clothes तो पहन रहा हूँ, अच्छा नहीं लगेगा कि मैं अपने like नहीं हॉर्स के साथ जाऊँगा एंड बॉडीगार्ड से जाऊँगा तो उनको शक हो सकता है, क्योंकि वहाँ पे जितने भी लोग रहते हैं वो सारे सिंपल होते हैं, राइट. It's written there also that there's simple people. That's why he wear the ordinary clothes. Okay. So he left his bodyguard and his horse, and he went alone. As the king came near the hermit's hut, he saw the hermit digging the ground in front of his house, in front of his hut. He greeted the king and continued digging. The hermit was old and weak, and he worked. He breathed heavily. See, he was old, so if he will do work, so what will happen? He will get tired very easily, right? And breath will heartbeat will become very fast, right? And he will breathe very heavily. The king went up to the hermit and said, I have to come to you, wise hermit, to ask you to answer 3 questions. How can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I need most? And what affairs are the most important? The hermit listened to the king but did not speak. He went on digging. You are tired, said the king. Let me take the spade and work in your place. Thanks, said the hermit, giving the king his spade. Then he sat down on the ground. When the king had dug 2 beds, he stopped and repeated his question. The hermit gave no answer, but stood up, stretching out his hand for the spade, and said, Now you rest and let me do work. But the king didn't give him the spade and continued to digging. 1 hour passed and then another. The sun went down behind the trees, and at last the king stuck the spade into the ground and said, I came to you, wise man, for an answer to my question. If you can give me no answer, then tell me, I will go back to my home. Here comes someone running, said the hermit. So I have done the part 1, right? Now we have the part 2 that I will share in another video, so that it will become easy for you to learn. If I'll give you in one video, it will become longer and you will not be able to learn properly. So till here I have done, right, till this much. Now I want you all to read all these questions and try to do, right. I'm reading the questions. Okay. Why did the king want to know answer to the 3 questions? We have read this before, you can see. Yes. Why did the king want to know answer to 3 questions? Why? Because he said that he never want to be fail, and he always thought that only, that he will never fail. See, it's written there in the first line also, right? He will never fail. That's why he want to know those 3 questions, right? Messengers were sent throughout the kingdom to fetch wise men to find answer to these questions, or to look for the wise hermit and to announce a reward for those who would answer the questions. So you have to just check the answer, right? We have read the chapter till here, so I think now you can answer yourself, and I will be sharing a worksheet till this part, okay, till first part, in the comment section. So please open that link and try to do that worksheet. It will be type of a maybe MCQ, or it can be subjective, right? So thank you so much. Next video I will continue this chapter from part 2. and please subscribe and share and like my channel. Thank you so much.